All right, welcome everybody. We're going to give it just another minute as people log in, but I appreciate everybody's time today, and we'll kick off in about 30 seconds. All right, let's get started. Again, I appreciate everybody for joining. My name is Mike DePalma. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at OpenText. My role kind of sits in between the sales and marketing teams. I'm kind of a MSP enablement org that we run. So we're the folks that you'll see out on the road at the various events, doing webinars like this. I've been with the company about 5 months. Prior to, I was with Datto and Kaseya. That's where I was fortunate enough to work with my co-host here, Nick Wolf. Nick actually predated me at Datto. And to be honest, I learned a lot from him. So, Nick, why don't you introduce yourself and we'll get kicked off.
Yeah, appreciate it, Mike. Always a pleasure to do a webinar with you. My name is Nick Wolf. I'm the Director of Partner Acquisition here at Cork. I focus a lot on, building out new partner relationships with our MSPs here in our ecosystem. Prior to that, spent about 10 years over at Datto as one of its first employees. Got to work hand in hand with Mike DePalma, Rob Ray, and a lot of those, business development team members as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. So just really quickly, a little bit about OpenText for those of you that aren't familiar. I know we've got a kind of a mixed audience here. We are a full platform company on the cybersecurity side of things. Sitting right in the middle, we are a Microsoft CSP. Actually, we were the first Microsoft CSP when Office 365 launched. We were standing on stage with them. We've got fantastic support. It's kind of our differentiator. 98.7% of tickets are handled on the first call in-house. The rest are handled with us working directly with premium support over there. But we also are the only CSP that has our own cybersecurity IP. So we've got a broad range of products. We'd love to chat with you about them, from email security, threat protection, EDR and MDR, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, backup, archiving, encryption. So a full array of cybersecurity products that you could all manage with one single pane of glass in our secure cloud platform. But to get into the conversation, and I'm glad Nick's on here because we're going to kind of make it a little bit conversational here. We've been partnering with Canalys over the last several months, and actually there'll be a press release, a small plug, in 2 weeks, releasing the findings of the study that we've been working on. But we're kind of taking a look at where the channel is right now. And so Jay McBain from Canalys, he's been around for forever in the channel, and he kind of breaks it down into 3 stages. There was the break fix phase, 20, 25 years ago. At that point, very easy to see where your profitability was coming from, right? Here's my hourly rate. Here's what I can get on a markup on my hardware. Then we saw the big shift, obviously, to the MSP model, the monthly recurring model, which was great. Again, very easy to see profitability. Here's what I'm going to sell this SaaS product. Here's my markup on that. Here's what my labor is going to be. And now I know what my true margin is. We've now shifted into MSP 3.0, which is the age of AI. And so every time you're at an event, every vendor is going to have AI in their title and description, right? And we're all trying to figure out what it means. I think there's 3 kind of ways to look at it. One is, what is AI going to do for you internally to make you more productive and more efficient? 2 is, what is AI going to do for your clients to make them more secure, to make them more productive, more efficient? But most importantly for this space is, okay, where is profitability going to come from right now on that? You're not going to become a millionaire overnight reselling Microsoft Copilot, right? It's a very important tool. And so what we're looking at really is, okay, the model is now changing from an MSP to what we would call a BSP. And I'll give credit to Joe Rojas from Start, Grow, Manage, who came up with that term, but really a business solution provider. Figuring out not just how am I going to keep you secure, and how am I going to, how am I going to run a help desk and those type of things, but how am I going to drive your business forward? And those are the conversations. So instead of saying, hey, I work with ophthalmologists to make sure that their networks are secure, you say, I work with ophthalmologists to make sure that their user experience is top notch and better than anybody else, right? Their patient experience. And so that's kind of where we're seeing the trend move. I mean, also interestingly enough, it's the first year that the average age of someone purchasing IT in the small business space was, they were born after 1982. So Nick and the millennials have now taken over. Us Gen Xers are sent out to pasture. And so that means kind of adjusting the way that everybody goes to business, from the vendor side to you guys, and then even how they want to manage their clients. And so an MSP sits right in the middle of that, figuring out, okay, what is the best way that I'm going to optimize not only your business as my client, but also how am I going to optimize the experience of your clients and all the rest. So, I mean, Nick, you've been in the space forever. Would you make that a fair assessment that we are now kind of into that third phase based on the conversations you've been having?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And what we're seeing is that MSPs are getting involved both pre-attack and after the attack. So obviously MSPs are involved because they want to set up as many preventative measures as possible, utilizing a multi-layered approach to cybersecurity. But we're also seeing a lot of MSPs get involved after the attack actually occurs, whether it's cleaning up a mess from a brand new customer that's leaving their old MSP due to a breach, or a customer that didn't have any MSP whatsoever and obviously suffered a cyber incident. Which actually leads to one of our first poll questions for the audience here of, let me go ahead and start the poll here. Have you had a client financially impacted by any sort of cyber attack in the last 24 months? So this poll will be open for the next minute or so. So definitely click on the screen there, and we'll go over the results quite shortly. But back over to you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a great question to ask. I think I'm pretty confident that numbers can be relatively high, right? I will say, as we look at the attack vectors and where they're coming from, it's pretty obvious from multiple studies that small businesses working with an MSP are going to have a much lower rate of getting attacked, but also having to pay any ransom payments or anything like that. So the final financial impact is going to be less as well. But when we look at where that growth and importantly where that revenue generation is going to come from, cybersecurity is clearly that space. And I'll also say, even in the middle, that MSP era, the last 20 years, we've seen these waves of different kind of shiny objects. It was MSSP 7-8 years ago, and everybody was rushing to become an MSSP. Some were successful, some really realized that maybe that wasn't their business model. Then we saw co-managed, and everybody was rushing to that. And that's been a godsend because it's allowed the channel to move up market. Nick knows, back when I was in sales 10, 11 years ago, if I had a partner that was working with a prospect that had an in-house IT team, 9 times out of 10, that door is going to be closed because they thought you were coming in there to replace them. Co-managed allowed folks to say, no, there's things that I could supplement and ways we could work together. Huge opportunity. But those were kind of slower waves, right? Some people adopted them, some people didn't. When we look at the AI era, it's coming like a tidal wave. And so we really have to make sure that we're on the front of that wave because it's going to be a necessity. And within that, it's figuring out, okay, where does my profitability come from? Where should I be focusing my time and my resources and my training of my employees? And clearly, cybersecurity is here to stay. Gives us all some pretty good job security. And so, when we look at what that means and kind of the profitability and all the rest, it's not just on that markup. As I said, it's not just saying, okay, I'm paying X to a vendor, I could mark this up 40, 50%. There's my margin, because as you start to see how management of these tools go, that starts eroding on day one. And then at the end of the month, you start to say, well, yeah, I mean, I added 4 new clients, but my bottom line isn't really growing because I'm now having to hire techs to manage all of these complex cybersecurity vendors. On our side, that's what we're trying to simplify as much as possible. Now, MDR is clearly, on the rise, and there's a lot of great vendors out there. We've been in the space for a long time on our MDR services. It's something that is really becoming a necessity as we start to really figure out how we're going to differentiate ourselves in terms of the competition in the market, especially on the MSP side of things. And so the initial Canalys report that we're going to be releasing shows a couple of things. IT managed services, we're looking for a 13% growth. That's the projection. Managed cybersecurity, even a little higher, but the highest potential revenue generator is going to be that MDR. And so, when we talk a little bit about how we define EDR, MDR, I mean, there's a lot of letters that keep getting added to it, right? MXDR, ITDR, all of these different types of things. What we say is, when we look at our EDR and how we define it, it's going to be a centralized place for you to monitor all of your security products. And we integrate with over 500 vendors. So just about anybody that you're working with, we probably integrate with. And if we don't, we'll build that integration, and we don't charge for that. We want to make sure that kind of one of our differentiators is that flexibility. I personally feel like that's where the MSP space is going. In general, I mentioned, the BSP. There will always be a need for traditional MSPs, MSSPs, BSPs, different consultants. It's really about figuring out what your go-to-market strategy is, and we're trying to follow that roadmap. So when we talk about flexibility, yes, we have bundles where you can combine a bunch of our products, obviously at a discounted rate. We've got a great single pane of glass where you could manage all of those things. But if you want to just supplement it with one thing, maybe you're missing email encryption or email archiving, we're able to supplement that as well. And again, we've got no contracts. Everything is month to month, free trials, and free NDR as well. So when we look at our EDR, what we define it as not only that EDR, that endpoint protection, but also along with it, a SIM and a SOAR. That comes within that EDR package. So, I've been on the road a lot recently. Like I said, I've been with the company about 5 months. I think I've been to 14 events, and I'm still trying to learn exactly, where we fit in. And when I ask folks how many people are using a SOAR, security orchestration, automation, response tool, I don't get very many hand raises. And really what this is going to allow you to do, I talk about efficiency, profitability, but really it's a very simple way for you to start creating some of those workflows where you could literally drag and drop and say, if this happens, I want you to take this action and I want you to notify these people. Or you could even get a little bit more, okay, there's an attack. Okay, we want to isolate that endpoint. Were we able to successfully do that? Yes. Okay, notify these people. If not, here's the next steps. And so it allows you to, and we've got hundreds of different kind of workflows that you could plug in there, but it allows you to do those things. So if you haven't taken a look at a SOAR, definitely do so. It's definitely something that's going to save you time. It's going to be easy, and ultimately it's going to help protect your clients and get them up and running and having a lesser rate of one of those incidents as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Nick, and you could start taking it away from here. I didn't mention up front, if anybody has any questions or comments, there's a comment little tab there you can click on. I'll be monitoring it as Nick is going along, but we're going to leave plenty of time at the end to answer questions as well. So Nick, I will let you take things over.
Yeah, appreciate that, Mike. So you said a lot of important stuff and how it resonates that MSPs really need to have a multi-layered approach to cybersecurity, making actions of those results. And that's really key and important because based on our actual poll that we just ran here, around 45% of the respondents had at least one client suffer a cyber attack that financially impacted them within the last 24 months. So 45% of the people have had a client that had some sort of attack. But having that extra set of eyes and ears on it, having a multi-layered approach to cybersecurity could hopefully get those numbers down drastically. One of the other questions that I had for the audience that I'll start a poll with real quick is, of the MSPs in the audience, have you ever had to help a client with a cyber insurance questionnaire, or at least guide them through answering those questions properly? So I'll open that poll up now, and that will be open for a few minutes here, and then we'll circle back to the answers. For those who do not know who Cork is and what we do, we were founded about 2.5 years ago by Austin McCord, the founder of Datto. And basically what we offer here is two things. We offer monitoring and we offer a cyber warranty. What our monitoring platform is going to act as is basically a super connector. We want to connect all of your different cybersecurity tools. We already have a well thought out integration with our friends over at OpenText. We are able to integrate with their EDR endpoint product, formerly known as WebRoot, as well as their SaaS backup product, formerly known as Cloud Ally. And there's going to be more and more integrations here coming very, very shortly. And what we're doing with all of this information is we're proactively alerting you, the MSP, if there's any misconfigurations across those tools that would void out a client's cyber insurance policy or their cyber warranty through Cork. So for example, if there is a device out there that has your RMM instance running on it, but for whatever reason, your EDR software never got installed on a particular machine, we're proactively letting you know about it. Or if there's a backup and disaster recovery appliance installed, but for whatever reason, the backups have been failing most recently, we're letting you know about it as well. These are all key indicators of things that need to happen in order for a cyber insurance policy to be validated. You need to have RMM, you need to have EDR, you need to have backup, you need to have MFA. Otherwise, your cyber insurance claim is going to get denied. Actually, something that just hit the news a couple of days ago was the city of Hamilton in Canada. They actually had their $18 million cyber insurance policy claim denied. I'm not sure if you saw that, Mike. And ultimately, the reason why it was denied is because on their cyber insurance application, they said they attested that MFA was turned on, and they were in the process of slowly rolling out MFA to all their users, but ultimately, not all the users, not all the departments had MFA turned on, and that ultimately led to the cyber insurance claim getting denied.
Yeah,
So
we've seen that a few times, especially MFA. I mean, that's clearly mandated in every cybersecurity plan, but you could search the news every day and find one. There's a big manufacturer that was hit last year. There's a lot of things. And so the industry has needed something like Cork for a while, something that we talked about back in our Datto days. I mean, that's why it's one of the geniuses of Awesome Accord. Like, this is something, again, when we talk about MSP of the future, and where revenue is going to come from. It's going to come from your intellectual property, things like this. It's going to come from the MSPs being able to look in their clients and their prospects in the face and say, I'm going to help you fill this application out, but I'm also going to make sure that we're not just checking the boxes off. And if you do get attacked, we're going to make sure that we really were performing all of the tasks that we attested to within that application. So yeah, I was excited when you guys were launched, for sure.
yeah, and the results of the survey are actually in. Around 70% of MSPs have helped their clients with some sort of cyber insurance questionnaire. So that's pretty startling results that we're seeing there for sure. And that's one of the things that I like about what we're doing here at Cork is not only are we offering a financial cyber warranty, but we're actually able to share all this information that we're monitoring directly with cyber insurance carriers. So now a customer could get access to a discounted cyber insurance policy with Cork pre-filling a good portion of the questions that are typically asked on a questionnaire. So again, instead of you having to manually answer the question, does the client have EDR running, yes or no, Cork is actually going to pre-fill that answer saying, yes, this client already has EDR running because we see the OpenText WebRoot EDR solution installed on all these machines. So really designed to save an MSP and their clients time. So I know we talked a lot about a cyber warranty. Some of you on this call might not know what a cyber warranty is, and I really like to relate it to the auto industry. In the auto industry, you have car insurance and you have a car warranty. Car insurance is protection if you have an accident in your car, if your car is stolen. But car insurance is different than a car warranty. When I think of a car warranty, I like to think of the check engine light on a car because it's really designed to help prevent or remediate an accident before you ever get into that accident, before you ever need to utilize your car insurance policy. So again, if there's something wrong with one of those parts or components in the vehicle, you'll bring it into the shop, you'll get it fixed under the warranty before the accident ever occurred. And this resonates very well with the cyber industry and cyber landscape. So in the cyber industry, we have cyber insurance, which is very important. It's protection if you have an incident in your cyber landscape or if your data is stolen. But cyber insurance is different than what we're offering here at Cork, which is a cyber warranty. Our cyber warranty is really designed to help prevent or remediate an incident before it ever happens. In a lot of ways, we're acting as that check engine light for your MSP. So again, if we see that there's something out of whack that can lead to a potential impact, whether it be MFA being turned off, backups not running, a device out there that has your RMM software installed on it but doesn't have your EDR software installed on it, we're proactively letting you know about it so you can get it fixed sooner rather than later. In the event of a cyber incident, and if our monitoring platform or check engine light isn't able to pick up on anything, we are able to provide financial compensation up to $500,000, which we'll dive into a little bit here. The other topic that I wanted to go over is cyber insurance. And cyber insurance is super, super important, but it's not 100% perfect. That actually leads into my next poll here. Best guess for the MSPs in the audience here, how many clients have a cyber insurance policy today? Do all of your clients have cyber insurance? More than half, less than half, none, or I don't know. Some MSPs that I deal with, they make cyber insurance mandatory. In order to be an MSP customer of theirs, you have to be financially protected and have a cyber insurance policy. Other MSPs that I deal with, they keep it optional. But some of the statistics around cyber insurance, again, cyber insurance is very important. All small businesses should have it. But just because you have cyber insurance, it doesn't mean that it's a silver bullet. It's not the answer to all your prayers. we're seeing on our end that around 40% of SMBs actually had their cyber insurance claims denied. You probably saw it earlier this week, and we talked about it, how that city in Hamilton in Canada recently got their cyber insurance policy voided out because they misled their application. They lied about having MFA turned on across all users when in reality they didn't. We're also seeing the cost of cyber insurance rise, in recent years. So that's something to keep an eye on, going up roughly 50 to 100% year over year. And the insurance process, is really becoming more daunting. There's more questions that you have to answer. Like Mike said earlier, 20 years ago when everybody was break fix, getting cyber insurance was a lot easier back then as well. Hey, do you have antivirus running? Check this box. Great. You now have a cyber insurance policy. Nowadays, as the threat actors adapt and AI comes into place and there's more rises of cybersecurity incidents, it's not just having antivirus anymore. It's having EDR mixed with MDR, having MFA turned on, having backups running, having patch management running, having firewalls installed. There's more questions that need to be answered on these cyber insurance applications, which does delay the process. So while cyber insurance is super important and all your clients should have it, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to get nowadays, but that's something that we are working towards with our friends over at a lot of the brokers that we're doing business with.
Yeah, I was in Cincinnati last year at a partner's office, and he had a cybersecurity application on his desk that he was helping a client fill out. It was 104 pages long. That's a true story. I have a picture of it on my phone because I wanted to make sure I saved 100. And I think, it's important to note in the opportunity here for MSPs, the cybersecurity insurance industry about 2 or 3 years ago had to revamp how they were going to market, because early on, like you said, it was the Wild West. There wasn't actuary tables for an insurance company to say, here's the data behind why you need X, Y, and Z. Now they have it. If you ever want good stats to use, go to the cyber insurance industry, because they're looking at real stats about business interruption costs and all those things. And so it's a great exercise, even if your client can't afford insurance or doesn't think they need it, to go through one of those applications and not just see if they could check the box off, but explain to them why the box exists. Explain to them, why does the insurance company think this is important for you to have? And now all of a sudden, now you say, well, if you come work with me, I could make sure all these boxes are checked, right? And so it's a good kind of prospecting tool as well. Also, if you develop relationships with the folks in your area that are in the cyber insurance space, they want to work with you. They'd love to do a lunch and learn or go to a Top Golf, because they'll bring their clients and they want your clients there because they know that your clients will be insurable. You guys are the non-smokers, right? You guys are the ones that are less risk. They want to sign up as many of them as possible. So I'm always looking at it through the lens of growth and kind of business development. Like the cyber insurance space and the things that Cork is doing is also a go-to-market strategy to show, exactly what your stack can do. So sorry to interrupt there, Nick.
That's a great upsell opportunity for our existing MSPs. Hey, Mr. Client, in order for you to get this cyber insurance policy that you want, you need to have MFA. That's something I could sell you. You need to have EDR. That's something I could sell you. You need to have backup and disaster recovery. That's something I could sell you. So that's another way that you as an MSP could provide value while also making the right business decisions and increasing your revenue. The poll results are actually in. Earlier today, I asked how many clients have a cyber insurance policy. 10% have responded more than half of their clients have a cyber insurance policy. 70% said less than half of their clients have a cyber insurance policy. And 20% responded, I don't know. So pretty staggering numbers that, even though cyber attacks are on the rise, most clients do not have a proper cyber insurance policy today. Around 70%, less than half of their clients have a cyber insurance policy. And going back to what Mike alluded to earlier, getting the cyber insurance policies are getting tougher. 104-page security questionnaire in order to get a policy, and these aren't easy. Some questions are easy. Is MFA turned on or turned off? But some are there's a lot of gray area in some of these questions that they ask, where it's like, yeah, well, we kind of do this, but only on this portion of clients, or only at their main headquarters, not at the work from home users. Like, it reminds me of back in the day when I was in school, like trying to answer a question. If a train leaves Chicago at 60 miles an hour, when's it going to run into the train at New York going 30 miles an hour? But one of the things that we thought of here at Cork is we're actually able to simplify the questionnaires. We're not going to eliminate them entirely, but we are able to share the information that we're collecting with our cyber insurance broker friends like DataStream and Yukon, which was formerly Fifth Wall. So we're collecting all the information around remote monitoring and patch management, endpoint detection and response, data backups, multi-factor authentication, and we're sharing that through the Cork platform with our friends over at the insurance brokers. That way we could pre-fill as many of those security questionnaires as possible. So instead of it being a 104-page questionnaire that the client would have to answer, hopefully it's going to be substantially less, maybe only 5 or 10 pages, if that. So we talked about a lot around our cyber warranties, and really what I want to dive in now is going over what those cyber warranties actually entail. And I'm going to start our last poll here, which goes over the question we're going to ask the audience is, how many cyber insurance claims have you assisted your clients with in the last 24 months? So if you've been involved with any sort of cyber insurance claim, just curious to see how many claims you've helped out at various clients in the last 24 months. There's really two types of cyber warranty policies we end up offering here at Cork, and it all integrates with the OpenText ecosystem. We offer a $100,000 policy and we offer a $500,000 policy. Both of our cyber warranties will qualify a client for access to discounted cyber insurance. On average, MSPs and clients that have our cyber warranty bundled with their solutions are going to save around 30% or so on their annual cyber insurance policy. So a very big cost savings there. One of the main features of our warranties is that we're able to provide instant access to funds using a virtual debit card. So the same day you have a cyber incident, we're actually issuing a debit card with thousands of dollars on it. We're also able to cover things like SMS attacks, email gift card scams, wire transfer fraud payments, all of which are typically not covered by a cyber insurance policy. Most importantly here, our warranties are going to cover the client's cyber insurance deductible. So let's say the client already has a $2 million cyber insurance policy with a $10,000 deductible on it. If they had the warranty, we would be covering that $10,000 deductible. So it's all about reducing the client's out-of-pocket expenses during a cybersecurity incident. On the $500,000 warranty that we offer, we're also going to cover things like incident response related expenses, business interruption loss, data recovery, as well as ransomware payments. And again, if you and your clients do have the WebRoot or the OpenText EDR solution in place, this $500,000 warranty can instantly qualify your client's environment, which is something that we like to bring up a lot. Like Mike said earlier, it's not just about having one solution in place. It's about having multiple solutions in place, giving your clients a multi-layered approach to cybersecurity. So OpenText is going to be there to help things and protect your clients before the attack. But even OpenText, there's not a single solution on this planet that's going to say, you buy my one product, we are 100% going to block every single attack 100% of the time. That doesn't exist out there. The threat actors are just too dangerous. So while OpenText is going to do its absolute best stopping the bad guys before the attack, where Cork comes into play is, again, giving you that financial way to recover if an attack does end up getting through. And our survey results did come through here, and it looks like, let's see, how many cyber insurance claims have you assisted your clients with in the last 24 months? Around 30% of the respondents have assisted with 1 to 3 claims across various clients. So again, there is definitely a lot of attacks that are squeaking through, and luckily MSPs are there as the shield, helping their clients financially recover during a cyber incident. Which actually leads into my next slide here. There's actually been a couple of recent payouts that Cork has paid out on. One story is with a MSP out of Canada called Birmingham Consulting. And they had a law firm that suffered an email phishing incident. Basically what it was a data exfiltration attack where tens of thousands of sensitive records within SharePoint got exposed. Luckily, though, the MSP, Birmingham Consulting, was able to respond within 25 minutes and shut down the bad threat actor before a lot of damage was able to occur. But even though they shut them down that fast, they still had to perform a very rapid incident response and remediation. They had to really look into other areas of the business that may or may not have been impacted. Long story short, this was around a $20,000 incident response bill. Luckily, though, because this client had the Cork warranty, we were able to pay out this MSP, and the client was out of pocket $0. So that's just one example that I always like to go off of as an MSP, you're automatically going to be a pre-approved vendor to do that incident response work for the client. The other payout example that I'll go over just real quickly here is going to be the fact that there was a construction firm client, and they had a wide variety of cybersecurity tools installed. They were utilizing a multi-layered approach to cybersecurity. Ultimately, though, this client got a spoofed email from one of their known vendors saying, hey, can you send this month's payment to this bank account instead of our old bank account? And sure enough, they did. Unfortunately, their cyber insurance policy did not cover wire transfer fraud, which this was. The bank was unable to reverse any of the funds because the client, the construction firm, didn't actually realize they were scammed until 2 or 3 weeks later, when the real vendor knocked on their door saying, why didn't you pay us your bill? And sure enough, they went down the rabbit hole and they found that it was a spoofing attack. Luckily, though, because this client had the Cork warranty, we were able to fully reimburse the full $21,000 that they lost due to wire transfer fraud in about 2 weeks. So those are just some payout examples of why it's important to not only have the best in breed technology in place, but backing that technology with a financial cyber warranty in tandem with a cyber insurance policy. Again, cyber insurance is important, but there's a lot of caveats of cyber insurance where it may not cover certain types of attacks. In this example, it didn't cover wire transfer fraud.
Yeah, that actually happened, Nick, right here in Norwalk, Connecticut. A few years back, we were doing, the city's building new schools, and they got an email from the construction management firm saying, hey, here's my invoice, route it to this routing number, $765,000. And then they got the real invoice a couple days later. They actually took it to court. I mean, it was all public. Eventually, it all came out, and they were declined because they weren't covered. It was a wire. You sent it out. This wasn't a cyber attack. You sent it out. They think they were able to recover about $200,000, but the city was out of pocket about $500,000. You could look that one up. That hit. We're not that big of a city to just take a $500,000 hit.
It definitely hurts the old pocketbook. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The last slide that we got here is we actually offer a free 14-day proof of concept of the Cork monitoring platform free of charge. You don't even have to insert your credit card. And during the 14 days, what we're able to do is connect to all of your different cybersecurity tools, your RMM tool, your EDR tool, your backup, your MFA tool, all those different cybersecurity tools. From there, we can alert you if there's any misconfigurations across those tools, like if MFA is turned off, if EDR is not installed. You could utilize that information to share it with the cyber insurance brokers we talked about earlier today. So you could get an instant cyber insurance quote for your client's environment. You could also purchase the Cork cyber warranty for your clients that want the cyber warranty as well. And I'm proud to say that we're already integrated with a majority of the OpenText products, their endpoint protection product, their SaaS backup product. And Mike, if someone is not an OpenText partner, do you guys offer free trials as well?
Yeah, we've got free trials in all of our products. And what's interesting, kind of a differentiator is it's not just a free trial if you're not a partner. Like I test out our EDR, now you're a partner, trial ends. We actually can offer those free trials for all of your clients as well on an individual basis, which is a big game changer because now you're saying, okay, I'm trying to tell you need EDR, right? And they might be saying, balking at the cost. All right, well, let's just put it in your environment for 30 days. And on day 25, I'm going to sit down with you and show you all the things that EDR did for you. And if you don't want to take it, that's fine. You just need to sign off a declination of coverage and I'll turn it off for you. We're seeing, our partners utilize that type of strategy and win a lot of business. And so that's a big, core component of what we do. No contracts, free trials, and NFRs for all of the products we have. Other than MDR is the only one we don't have an NFR for. But, I think that's kind of where we fit in. And, we're really proud to be part of the Cork approved vendor stack because that validates the product, to be honest with you, right? And so not just anybody can get thrown on that list, as Nick knows. So it's kind of a third party validation showing the strength of our EDR program. So we're very proud of that. We've got other products on that as well, like you said, Cloud Ally stack, but we're going to be adding more as well. So we're going through that vetting process because we really want to be part of it. I'm a big believer in this. That to me, if I'm an MSP, I look at this, there's so many advantages. The protection is great. I kind of look at Cork as being, left side of the boom, your cybersecurity insurance being the right side of the boom after an attack hits. And Cork actually kind of fits into both of those because it can help on response too. So I know, Nick, you're probably crazy busy right now because I walk by your booth. It's typically very crowded. So
Yeah. We're absolutely growing and growing fast. And the best way for MSPs to try us out is, again, definitely sign up for the 14-day proof of concept here. You can scan the QR code, or you could go to corkinc.com/OpenText. And again, you'll be able to connect all your tools. We do have a Q&A section as well. So I've seen a couple questions pop in here over the last few minutes. And if you haven't asked any questions, feel free to do so. Mike and I have carved out a couple moments here. One of the first questions we see here is there a software agent that needs to be installed for the Cork monitoring platform? That's a good question. So all of our integrations are done using an API configuration. So everything that you see here is going to be done via an API. There's not a single software agent you need to install. So an average onboarding here at Cork is really only going to be about an hour or so, whether you have 10 endpoints or 10,000 endpoints, because we're just connecting to your RMM, your EDR tools, your backup tools, all using an API. So again, very fast process to get you up and running here. Let me see if there's any. Yep, there's actually one question that I think's geared for you, Mike. Are you at OpenText going to any other trade shows in the future where I could see you guys in person? And I think you've already been at 14. Are you guys going to your own events or going anything?
Yeah, we'll be at Exchange in Denver in a couple of weeks. And then come fall, we'll be everywhere. We've got Channel Pro events we're going to, ASCII events, IT Nation, DattoCon. We'll be doing PAX 8's event over in Amsterdam. We try to get out to as many events as possible. I get a lot of airline miles. So yeah, chances are if you're going to an event, we'll be there. Chances are I'll personally be there. So I'd love to chat with you. And, we're doing demos of things right in the booth. I'd love to be able to show you those SOAR capabilities. It's pretty, like I said, very intuitive, very easy. The other thing is, we integrate with all the RMMs, meaning that you could buy a lot of our products, especially EDR, directly through your RMM. So again, we come back to flexibility, and to me, I think it fits into the MSP of the future, figuring out exactly what your business model is. If you want to buy directly from us, that's great. I mentioned our secure cloud platform. You could manage all those things along with your Microsoft licenses. But if you prefer to buy through ConnectWise or Datto RMM or wherever that is, just about every one of them you could just buy directly through them as well. So we try to give as much flexibility as possible. Look, PAX 8 is a competitor on the Microsoft side, but we partner with them very well too, and our products are in their marketplace as well. So again, hopefully we're seeing that open ecosystem, which was a big thing back in the day. Our early days, Nick, you go to events and all the vendors are, playing nice with each other. Pendulum shifted to this really super competitive environment. We're kind of hoping that shifts back, and we want to be one of those folks that plays nice with everybody. Again, we have bundles. You want to buy it a la carte, you want to buy it through your RMM, you want to buy it through PAX 8. We want to make sure it's as easy as possible to transact with us.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I believe you guys also host your own trade show, right? OpenText World. Are you going to be rocking out there?
We do have OpenText World, which is coming up. Now, this is more of a large enterprise presence, although I will be there if anybody's going to be there. But yeah, it's a great event. You can just go and just sign up if you'd like, and hopefully I'd love to chat with you there as well.
Perfect. Let me see another question that popped through. Cork mentioned some of its payout stories today, but I'm curious, how many claims has Cork denied and not paid out on? Do you have any information on that? Actually, I do. So since launching the company 2.5 years ago, we've received 4 claims that have come through, and we've paid out on all 4 of them. So since launching the company, we haven't had to deny a single warranty claim payout. And a lot of that is tied into our monitoring platform, that check engine light feature that I went over earlier, how we're alerting MSPs before the attack ever happens if there's any misconfigurations that would void out a claim, like if MFA is turned off or if EDR isn't installed. So our MSPs are doing a really good job of responding to those compliance alerts and fixing the client's environment before the attack ever happens. Another question that came in is there going to be a recording available for this session? Mike, I believe your team is going to be sending that out, correct?
Yes, we are recording the session. So if anybody from your team wasn't able to watch it, or other folks, the email should go out tomorrow with the link for everybody that registered. So even if you registered and weren't able to attend, you're watching this recording, you've got the recording. So
perfect, awesome. Well, that's it for questions. Mike, any other final thoughts?
No, I mean, I think what you guys are doing is great. It's something that, again, it's been asked for years and years. It's crazy that cyber insurance companies haven't been more aggressive, saying, "Hey, I'll give discounted rates if you're working with these vendors." We're seeing more and more of it. It's about time, because these are the folks that are going to be safer for insurance companies, less of a claim to pay out. So what you guys are doing is great. Again, I'd love to chat with anybody about EDR or our full suite of products. Like I said, we've got a broad range of products within our portfolio. So hopefully this was helpful and more educational than anything else. I learned a lot, Nick. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for inviting me on, and it's always a pleasure doing a webinar with you, Mike.
You're the best, buddy. Appreciate it. Good luck, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for attending.
All right, bye.